Hey, 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 welcome,
Hello,
welcome, welcome.
people.
On there.
I
Welcome,
know
everyone, to another gym time with myself, Debbie, and my brother.
Maurice or AKA Paul.
Yeah,
Nice to
yeah.
see you all again.
Thanks
Hello,
for
sis.
joining us.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us. For those of you who are joining us live on Instagram as well as on YouTube, welcome, welcome, welcome.
And I
If
think,
you guys on Instagram wants to join us on YouTube, you should find the link in my profile or on my page. You should be able to find the link, or
and if,
you can go to Debbie, no,
no, Maurice
Debbie,
and Debbie.
Maurice and Debbie Gym Time on YouTube. So you can join us over here, especially if you want to join us in the chat, because I'm not able to multitask at the moment, and plus it doesn't come up correct all the time anyway. So yeah. So how you been then, Paul?
I'm good. I'm good. Um, well, during the week, last week, I wasn't too well. I was under the weather. Don't even know what was wrong. Felt like cold coming. My whole body just felt different. So I just took it easy,
Yeah.
rested, and then come Monday morning. See, people normally have Monday morning blues. I didn't. I had Monday morning. Oh my goodness, my body feels better. It was bad. It was bad. I was fighting off something, and like I said, the feeling as well. And I think whereas sorry, let me just move this. Whereas I'm still overcoming or recovering,
Yeah.
um, you kind of
What's that?
ooh, that's my first. I done all my phones on silent, and the one other phone, I just put it down and didn't do it. Um, do excuse me. Yes, done it now. Yeah. So I'm here. I'm ready, and I think this is a really good, touchy subject. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's one that you thought that we could share this week, which is cool. As as it goes, we will take turns in what we want to share, and yeah, I thought it was a good topic. So, evening, Sonia. Evening to whoever else is out there. You can put your name in the chat so we can say hi to you personally. And
Yes.
so, go ahead and say what the title is today, Paul, as well as your
The
disclaimer.
title is yours, unscripted. Um, I don't know what tagline that you used. What tagline did you use on that?
Life with the in-laws.
Yeah,
Yeah, life with
but
the in-laws. Because
but
when
do
you get
you do
married,
you do you have life with the in-laws? That's the question. We'll get into it soon.
I think I think the question is, do you have a good life with the in-laws?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You have
Or a
life with
pretend,
the
or
in-laws.
a pretend good life.
Yeah, but remember there are people who could have married and they haven't got any in-laws as well. But
Yeah, absolutely,
you know,
absolutely. Well,
um,
we'll talk about that because you remember
yeah,
you got a brother-in-law, sister-in-law,
yeah,
cousin-in-law,
that's true, that's true,
nephew-in-law.
that's true.
You know,
I
um.
guess I was more thinking about mother and father-in-law kind of thing, but yeah. So go ahead and do your disclaimer then, bro.
So before I do disclaimer again, if you welcome YouTube followers and welcome you that are not subscribed to us, but subscribe, press that notification that you're able to come on and join us whenever we have a show. And if ever you feel brave enough out there, whoever you are, we don't have to even know you. You can come on live and as long as that you're not be coming on with profanities and and putting people down and stuff like that, you are welcome here to be part of
Absolutely.
this show. This isn't just me, myself and Debbie. This is about you. We all learn from one another. So again, I just want to point out, if you ever want to come on, just let us know via Maurice and Debbie at Gym Time. You can find us there live right now if you want to go over to there. And hello, Facebook world as well, if you're watching on my profile
Yeah,
here.
absolutely. I forgot about Facebook. Hi
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. And so my disclaimer, as I say every time I come on, is that I won't start with cut my neck. Um, we're here to motivate, empower, food for thought for you, being able to look at things from a different perspective, um, and trying some of these when we have shows, trying different things out in your relationships. It could work, it might not work, but adjust it according to your relationship. You've got a foundation here. At least you have a foundation. In different subjects, and to do look over our videos that we've posted in the past. If you go to our channel and you press live, you'll see the list of different channels, different shows that we've done as well. So if you apply it and it don't work, nobody cut Winneck. All right, that's my disclaimer. Don't cut Winneck. I don't know why I said it.
You're
I
laughing
think,
at the same time.
yeah, no, because every time I say it, I think to myself, yeah, next thing you know, someone's knocking on my door with some kind of, machete, you told me to. No, 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 don't you remember? I said, don't do it. Silly.
Yes. So,
Over to
yeah,
you.
as my brother said, we are here to encourage you, inspire you, motivate you. And, as life coaches, this is what we do. And it's just bringing our conversations that we would have offline to yourselves and just to empower you to enrich your life. And naturally, we want to see your relationships progress. And anything that we do know, we will share with you. We will research, we will do the things that are necessary. And I truly say that I do not know everything, but what I do know, I will absolutely share with you. And I really want to see relationships evolve and become better, that they don't stay the same or stagnate, that they
Mhm.
just grow and blossom into what they should be. So whatever advice and tips and tricks and that we can give, then that's why we're here, to do that. So let's get on
Absolutely.
with gym time.
Yes, let's get on with this. Well, when again, as much as I had food for thought for what I wanted to, put in, I obviously like to go and look what other people's opinions are as well, and see if
Mhm.
they're in line with mine. And I think some of them are quite ruthless, and they're not in line with mine about the
Mhm.
in-laws, you know. And but as I was looking, I looked up what was the negatives and the positives. What are some of the negatives about in-laws? And you notice it didn't say brother-in-law, sister-in-law, mother-in-law, father. And that's
Yeah.
why, in a way, I'm glad that it was in-laws and not about the mother-in-law or father-in-law, um, because when it comes to our personal life, this is what it says: intrusion into this is some of the negatives. Intrusion into personal life. In-laws may sometimes overstep their boundaries, intrude into their child's personal life, causing feelings of resentment and invasion of privacy. Now, I I think I think it can mother-in-laws or father-in-law or brother-in-law or in-laws can talk directly to the other partner, whether it be he or she, you know.
Mhm.
And I think um, they can cross that line, you know. I think that whenever you're talking to, whether it be your child or your sister, brother, uncle, whatever it is, you have to remember that yourself and what you go through, because sometimes the advice that you're giving or the negative things that you're saying about their partner, it's not on. That's
Mm.
who they chose to marry. And what we have to remember is that as I speak about it from my perspective as a man, I chose to ask this woman to marry me. Now, my mum, and I say my mum because our dad's passed away. My mum can give us constructive criticisms, but my mum cannot intrude in my marriage. Yeah, she can only give me, because sometimes when you tell, let's say we tell our mum or father or whoever you're telling them about what this woman is doing or what this man is doing, then you create a bad image about that person, even though it's true. But you're not looking to create a bad image. What you should be asking your mum, if you have that kind of relationship, or your dad or your brother or your sister, what can I do? You know, what would your advice be on this situation? Because, you know, as much as they're lovely, I'm struggling in this area. Because if you start listing off all these things, negative things about your partner, of course they're going to say things like, you don't have to put up with anything like that. You should put him out, or you should sleep in the other room, or you shouldn't give no money, or these type of things. Now, if
Mhm.
you are having monetary problems, that's for you two to sort out.
Mhm.
You've got to find that place where you two can talk. If you can't talk, then you're gonna have to find a mediator, but someone who's on no one's side and giving you both constructive advice. That because it does cause resentment.
It
You,
does.
I will never, because I can't talk about any of my in-laws, but I can say that the journey with some has been educated. Yeah, it's been educational.
I like that.
Yeah, yeah, very. And being that I'm on my third marriage, unfortunately, um, but fortunate that I'm with
Fortunately,
who
yeah,
I'm with.
fortunately and
Yeah,
unfortunately.
um, who I'm with now. I because I'm a polite person. Yeah, and sometimes you can hear things that ruffle your insides, and you don't want to rock the boat because it's educational.
Because we're all on a quest to learn. I like
I
the
like, I
education.
like that. I like that. It just came out.
Education. It's education you're getting.
Yeah, because everything is really, but you're gonna have to learn to keep your tongue. Can you imagine that I said to my wife's mum, she's saying something, I tell her, shut your mouth. What you do you talk? Hey, what are you doing? That's your mum, you know, and that's what
That would just rock
she
up.
would
That,
think. That's my mum. You're telling to
yeah,
shut her
that's
mouth.
right.
Yeah,
You have to use
and
wisdom. You have
yeah,
to.
you
You have
do.
to use wisdom. But you know what? All right. So I wanted to start off by sharing a few mother-in-law jokes because people always got jokes for mother-in-laws, isn't it? So I'm just going to read a few as they come. Some of them I haven't really filtered out. It says, "I'm not saying my mother-in-law's ugly, but she went to see that film, The Elephant Man, and the audience thought she was making a personal appearance. Um, how many mother-in-laws does it take to change a light bulb?" It says one. She just holds it up with the weight of the world to revolve around her.
Wow.
Did you hear about the man who threw his mother-in-law into the lion's den at the zoo? He's being sued by the RSPCA for cruelty to, to animals. Um, okay, I'm going to say two more. Uh, oh, sorry.
I
Oh,
think we're
okay,
gonna.
Bill. I was sorry to hear that your mother-in-law died. What was the complaint, George? We haven't had any yet. I don't get that
Wow.
one. You get that one?
No, it's sorry that she's passed away, but what was the complaint?
Complaint.
In other words,
Oh, yeah.
no one complained. It was like,
No, no, no. Yeah, so the reason why I wanted to start with that, because people typically have mother-in-law jokes, don't they? And it whenever people speak about the in-laws, they always go to the mothers. And I you know, when I read up on certain things, it's because mothers tend to be more interfering, want to be all up in your business, want to chat, want to, you know, tell you, give you advice, tell you all stuff that they did, what they didn't do, what you should do, and whatever. This is a typical thing about mother-in-laws. And so the challenge is as a grown person, we said it last week, wasn't it? Leave and cleave.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah,
said this last week, leave and cleave, you know, because you've got your in-laws. I mean, I typically hear challenges with mother-in-laws and sister-in-laws. Yeah. And I think that this is probably because the mum and the daughter is probably very much the same. So people normally say that mother-in-laws gossip, all up in your business. That's not typically true. You're going to get some that are really, really amazing, some that are not so amazing. You know, you're going to have some that go out with the daughter-in-law and some that don't, you know. But one thing that people typically talk about is the mother-in-law. And it seems as though mother-in-laws tend to rub the wives down the wrong way. And I think that when you look at relationships and the dynamics, the husband and the wife have to remember, like what we were sharing last week, which is leaving and cleaving. You know, they've had their time in order to say what they've done, whatever, in their relationship. And I'm sure, like most of us, made many, many, many mistakes. And it's down to us as individuals to say, do you know what? Thanks for the advice, or no thanks. But I think that they only, from the interfering side, they're only able to interfere as much as you allow them to.
that's very true.
They're
Very
only
true.
able to do that as much as you allow them to, without being disrespectful. You know, if you allow them in, if you open the door, then they will come in. Yeah.
That's right.
And if you then realize, do you know what they're saying is detrimental and causing a spanner in the works in my relationship, it's down to you as an individual to close that door and say thanks but no thanks, and don't go back to them for no advice. Don't bring stuff to them. When you say, for instance, they said, you know, why don't you try this, or why don't you say this, and you go and you say that thing or do that thing and you see that it has a adverse effect, you don't keep on taking their advice. Do you get what I mean? you 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 simply say thank you and no thank you. You know,
Hmm.
I heard someone say that if their mum was to be involved in their sister's relationship, the marriage would break down. And that
Hmm.
speaks volumes, because if you know that the mum is interfering, and if the sister was to open the door to the relationship, to the marriage, that relationship wouldn't be able to stand, then you know that mother is interfering, and not a person that you would typically take advice from. Do you get what I mean?
Yep. I know someone who was living, and then the in-laws are also your girlfriend, boyfriend's parents. I'm talking about longevity of relationships. They become
Hmm.
automatically in-laws, you know.
Hmm.
So I know someone who was living there with his girlfriend, and in her parents' house. And this man was making, the dad was making a lot of money, but after a while he became lazy. The young man is working 2 3 jobs. And good evening, baby. To my wife's son. Good evening,
Hey,
gorgeous.
Catherine. I was just gonna
Um,
say, like, hey, Catherine, in the chat, but I just said it.
and yeah, and he he asked for a certain amount of money, but he never spoke directly to the young man. He
Mm,
spoke directly to his daughter.
right.
So until she came. Well, anyway, They agreed with that amount. Later on, the boy got a better, making more money. Buckside, he wanted more money. Yeah, but he never said anything to the young man. The young man is buying his own food. The mum would want to cook, okay, and that's a subject there. Because do you eat the mother-in-law's food if you think it's horrible? You're sitting down in their house at the table. Thank goodness my mother-in-law. Mm, mm, mm. The
Well, then
food.
yum off your
Oh
fingers.
gosh, if I follow her, I roll out of her house. Yeah, like the children do. But in the end, because he refused to pay it, they didn't want them there. Get out of my house. Yeah, but the young man, I told him, do not, do not move in to their house. Yeah, and I'm not saying they're not nice people, because people are nice until you move into their space as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in-laws. Or you move to your brother's house and all of a sudden, you say, yeah, man, my brother got on all right. And then you move in, your sister, and it's like, nah, man, I don't like this on the floor. Nah, man, flush your toilet. Nah, man, where's my food? It becomes, a problem. But the point that I'm making is that you can you have to be you have to create that relationship yourself as well, like with the in-laws. Yeah, by talking to them and being frank, being open, and being able to say what you mean, because you're a
Yeah.
big grown person. Yeah, my
Yeah,
mom
but you
can't
know what?
tell
I
me
think
to
it
do.
becomes sticky when they move in. So I was speaking to one of my colleagues today, and he was saying that he's been living with his mum for the last 2 years, and he said that he's just bought a house, and they're gonna, you know, bring his mum to live with them, and fix up a space and whatever for her. And culturally, there's a lot of people culturally, is from an Indian background. They live with
Yeah.
their in-laws,
Hmm.
and they do that, and able to save and then buy their own place and so on and so forth. But because she's getting on in age and she's a widow, he said that they agreed to make her come and live with them. And I think that it's about setting those boundaries, from the
Hmm.
word get go, so that you
Absolutely.
all you all can respect each other. If there's no boundaries, if there's nothing that's being said or done, then you're going to find yourself in those situations and challenges. And if even if you open the door to your in-law, so that could be brother-in-law, sister-in-law, or anyone, any of the other family members, and you find yourself, in a good friendship with them and so forth, you still don't have to be sharing everything about your relationship with them. You can have a relationship with them that is void of you expressing things about your marriage. You don't have to, but people, for some reason, people typically think that they have to have those conversations with other people about their relationship, with the in-laws, that is,
See, I
but
think that people are looking for um, information. They're looking to um, whether they are right in their thinking or wrong in their thinking, or they don't have any thinking at all, and they want to be able to um, gauge someone else's perspective.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, at the same time, if you know that that person is a fair person, that person will look and be on both sides, whether whichever in-law, like me and you, when you're
Mhm.
talking, I'm not just on your side, you know, um, and I'm not on anybody else's side
Mhm.
when it's an issue,
Mhm.
because it's an issue. Now, if I
Mhm.
if I think he's wrong, then I'm going to say he's wrong. If I think she's wrong, then I'm going to say she's wrong.
Mhm.
If I think both of them are wrong, I'm going to say you're both wrong. You know,
Absolutely.
and
But I
and
don't
and
think that people do that all the time. I think that because we're siblings, people will naturally think, oh, do you know what? Debbie's going to be biased towards her brother, and irregardless, and that's not the case for us. I find that people do do that typically. But I think that if you are the ilk that you really want relationships to survive and you really want to pour into that person, and I think it comes through the fact that we like to empower and we like to encourage and we like to motivate people to be the best versions of themselves. And we know that by being biased and not looking at it from a perspective of, well, you know what, Paul, you could be wrong here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
have you considered this? I'm not helping you to develop and I'm not helping you to grow and be the best
That's
version of
right.
yourself. So if I think that you're wrong, and there's plenty of times when I've said, you know, I don't really agree with that, and
Only a few
we've
times. Four, four,
you wish.
four.
And you know,
Uh,
we've been in it two times. And we have been at loggerheads because I'm genuinely coming to you from a woman's perspective, knowing how a woman would think, and you're coming to me from a male's perspective, and I'm trying to help you to see it differently. And sometimes there is that conflict there, but what I do like about you is that you will come back and say, do you know what, yeah, do you know what, I was thinking about such and such, and yeah, you know, I sometimes you don't come and say it straight away, but you might say, oh, I did X, Y, and Z, which makes me know that you actually listened to what I had
mm-hmm,
to say.
mm-hmm.
And then I'll say, I war. No, not really.
She
But
does.
I would say,
She
oh
does.
right, okay, so you did that then. That's really good,
I
you know.
was right. See?
No, no, I don't. You know
No,
me
yeah, I know
already
you don't.
now.
I know. I'm playing.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm not the
playing.
type to say, see, I was right. I'm just like, that's really good. I'm glad that, you know, you did that, because it is to make sure that you have a good relationship. And I would never be that person that is going to talk you out of a relationship or talk anyone out of a relationship and say, do this or say this, or, you know, why is she doing this or why is she doing that? And that's out of order. And, you know, it's, you can see something and you can see that it's out of order, but it's how you are saying it to that person.
You see, one of the things that I believe is that if your in-law is saying something negative about who you're with, you need to stop them.
Mhm.
You need to stop them from doing that, because that causes
You frozen. You froze.
towards who you're with.
Mhm.
And it's almost like um when you're in their company, you can see the falseness. Hi, you're right, Paul. Yeah, nice to see you. And you pick up that energy, that negative energy.
Mm.
We're supposed, in-laws, from my perspective, where you're with your husband still, or whoever you are, you're single, mum, whatever else, brother, sister, you are supposed to speak life into one another. Who wants to have No one wants to have an unhappy relationship, much less having an unhappy relationship with your partner's family. If they're
Mhm.
obnoxious, then yeah, you set that boundary. They're not coming to your house. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's it.
Yeah, I know people where they say that their
And
in-laws are not coming to their house
yeah,
because
and
of,
and
of,
and, and
of the
the
type of people they
person, the son or the daughter, we know our family. We know our family, and if they say, well, no, you know what, I don't want your mother and your father around my house.
are.
Um,
Mhm.
they come to your house and they're in everything. How come you didn't put the picture up like that? Yeah, if
Mhm.
I was you, I would do. And if I was you and I was you, no, you're not me.
Mhm.
You're not me.
And it's not your
Yeah, You're
yard.
not. You're not her. It's our house. If we want to have no carpet in the house, don't and we want laminated. That's what we want. Oh, I
Mhm.
wouldn't put that down because the floor's cold and
Mhm.
you should just carpet. The carpet would look nice in here, innit? Innit?
Mhm.
Listen, you ain't pushing me to do what I want to do in my house. And if
Absolutely.
you're living in my house, you still can't pressure me to do. If I've given you a corner, You put carpet down
A corner, you know.
in your corner. Yeah.
Mm.
The east wing, that's yours. The east wing is yours. Don't come to the south and north and west. No, 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 no. Don't come over here. And
And
it's
dictate.
good to have constructive information that you want to give me, but I don't have to take it on. And then you don't go, let's say in-laws, like, you don't then go to Catherine and tell Catherine, you see your husband, he never listen. Yeah.
Yeah, but
He
it would be
had
for that
years. And
person to shut them down. Do you get? I
right,
mean, especially
exactly that.
if
What I was going to
it's
say, it
your,
would be
yeah, if it's your mum or if it's your dad, you have the ability to shut them down. But the worst thing is when they're doing that, and then you go back and say, "Yeah, do you know what my mum was saying that the other day? You said this or you said." It's just too much. It's just too much because I
some
think
things
that
you don't need to say anything. You've
sometimes you
dealt with
don't.
it. You shut it down, and
You just
that's it.
shut it down. Absolutely. But
Let me
people
let,
know
let,
their family. People know
yes,
their
they do.
family,
Yep,
but
yep.
when they're in contention, say with their partner, they might go to their family and they already know their family and they already know that their family might be contentious or be not be able to choose sides. Do you get what I mean? But they still do that. And there were certain times, like I was talking to someone on a completely separate note, but I think it's quite applicable for this, and it's something that I'm teaching on in regards to resilience, yeah, and how things play out. But if you're wounded, yeah, if you're a wounded soul, I was saying if people do not heal from their wounds, they speak to you from a perspective of being wounded. If they've gone through divorce and haven't healed, if they've gone through any kind of trauma and haven't healed, they speak to you from a place of being wounded. And I said it
Absolutely.
like this. I said it like this. And parents think that they always think that they know what's best for their child. Not all the time. Not all the time. And they think sometimes that they got their child's best interest at heart. But if you're a wounded soul and you're trying to tell your children how to live their life and you're coming from a wounded place, and I said it like this to these group of women, if you've got a kettle and there's scales, sediment, scales, whatever you want to call it, in the bottom of there. If you do not clean that out, every time you pour a cup of tea, yeah, you're going to get some of those residue in the bottom. And it doesn't matter how much you say, no, nothing's going to go in there. If you haven't descaled that kettle, you're going to get those bits in your drink. And that's the same thing when people are wounded and they're speaking to their loved one.
Going into. Mm-hmm.
They are bringing their toxic mindset, their toxic behavior, and giving you advice, thinking that that's the best advice. And you know, oftentimes people say, oh, you know, it's my mum or it's my dad or it's my sister, and they mean me well. Yes, sometimes people can mean you well, but totally get it twisted, totally get it wrong. You get what I
Absolutely.
mean? And following the advice of someone who is wounded, broken, busted, and disgusted is going to contaminate you and your mindset and the way how you view life. And so I think that that's something to be said. How about the in-laws that are really, really cool, that you
Let,
really get
let,
along
let,
with?
let me finish. Let me finish
On it.
this list quickly, right? Because there's not a lot of this one, and
I'll
I've
go
got
on
a
it,
list.
go on then.
I'm going to list the other side. Lack of boundaries. In-laws may not respect their child's boundaries, leading to feeling resentment and burnout. Also, what we can have is different parenting styles. In-laws
Yeah.
may have different parenting styles that can clash with their child's partner's approach, causing tension and conflict within the family. Financial dependency.
Mm.
In-laws may be overly generous or dependent on their child financially, which can create an unhealthy dynamic and lead to feelings of guilt or resentment. Manipulation. Those may use emotional manipulation to get what their to get what they want from their child, which may be damaging to the relationship and the child's emotional well-being. Exactly what you were just saying, that they're giving not so much, sometimes a sub story, this is some women, some men, you don't know what I went through with your mum, and it's difficult, you don't pick up a woman like that because you don't pick up a man like that because this is what your dad did, this is what the other men did, and so you're projecting what you've
But
been
that's what I'm
through.
saying. That's someone
Yeah,
that hasn't healed.
yeah, and you've not healed because I learned this along the way, because I'm guilty in the sense of that I used to tar all the women that I was with the same brush. You're a woman and you're all like this. Yeah. And I learned, especially in this marriage, that my wife is not, I said it on the show before, one of them, my wife ain't them. You may
Yeah.
have the same type of traits because you're female or you're male, the same types of traits.
Yeah.
From that perspective, but how you deal with conflict, how you deal with a situation is completely different to that person. And even if that person acted exactly the same as your ex, they're still not
You're still not
your
them.
ex. You're still your ex. So you have to deal with people on their own merit, and how you deal with conflict has to change from how you used to deal with the conflict with your exes, or your in-laws. How you used to deal with them, you got new in-laws now. You don't deal with it the same way,
Absolutely.
because you've grown. That if you're still doing the same thing that you was doing 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years, you haven't grown. You haven't grown. What have you learned? Remember what I said earlier on? I said it was educational. Yeah. That was my way of saying I didn't agree with everything.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah. There were some things I wanted to turn around and say, beep, 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 beep. There's some things I wanted to say, listen, who are you talking to? My mum don't talk to me like that. Who do you think you are? It was in there. Yeah. And it can rip you apart because I don't think I was eloquent enough or bold enough to speak my mind. And over the years, it's educating me, because you think that if you talk back to your girl's mum, or your wife's mum, it's wrong. Yeah. It's not wrong. If you speak back to someone's dad, it's not wrong. It's how you verbalize
Absolutely.
what you're saying, how you translate what you're feeling into a positive way of saying it. And if it becomes a conflict, you're big enough to say, you know what, it wasn't supposed to be a conflict.
Absolutely.
I'm just expressing myself, and you're expressing yourself, and I hear you, but the way you're talking to me, it's in a derogative manner, and I don't appreciate that. So either we stop the conversation, or you change the way you're talking to me, because we're grown-ups.
You're grown-ups. Absolutely.
We're grown-ups. We're allowed to speak in this way, and they don't have to like it. But you're a grown-up. I'm not a baby. I don't expect that. I can't speak to my mum, and express myself, but I will not be disrespectful. I don't expect to be able to speak to my mother-in-law because I'm a big grown man. I'm not a little boy. If I was a little boy, there's this timidness, and each time when that I'm around her, that I'm this timid boy, she has control over me, or he has control over me, or the brother-in-law, the sister-in-law, because maybe they got they got big muscles, and they're fifth dan. And you think to yourself, backside, I can't say, Brian, Brian, I didn't really like the way you said that, What? No, Brian. Frank,
back up.
David, Mrs. Brown, no, we're big grown people.
But you know what? I think I think that, all right, before we go on to talk about the positives, I think that
Yeah.
if if you've got a father-in-law and the father-in-law has that kind of derogatory way of speaking to you, speaking down to you, dealing with you like saying, "Oh, I think that you should treat my daughter like this. I think you should do this. I think you should, you know, be the handyman around the house." I think because sometimes it's just things like that that I think mind your own business. Do you get what I mean? If no, I do.
Yeah.
If you're not the type to be a handyman around the house, but you're prepared to pay for someone to come into the house and do the stuff that needs to be done, that's you sort of prerogative. Oh,
Yeah.
he's spending money to fix up the house, to people come in. What, are you going to come to the house and paint and decorate and everything and fix door and put, the man needs to go to work. Let him go to work, do his job. He's making money to go and pay for someone to come in and fix it. But you want to tell the wife, oh, your husband should be putting on lock on the door, and your
You
husband
should
should
come
be painting,
in and do
and
that
your
then. If
husband
you
should be
feel,
doing the gardening, and your husband should be doing. No, I don't, I personally don't see it like that. I think if he's that way inclined, then yeah, sure. But if he's not, then don't expect him to do that, and don't tell your daughter, or brothers, don't tell your sister, oh, he's a waste man because he doesn't repair the doors, or he doesn't do like all of the handyman stuff around the house. And you know what I'm like already, Paul. I like doing like jobs like that. That's just how I've always
look,
been. Yeah.
you know what? This stroke thing, having this stroke, there was a place we put down some tile flooring, like the entrance, and
Remember.
we had some remnants left over, and we said we'll probably put some carpet there and just roll them out and stick it. I lay down on the floor
I
because I
remember.
like doing things. You
Hmm.
know, ordinarily I wouldn't have been down on the floor because I'm up and do. I like doing things. You know,
Hmm.
I like being creative. I like to fix things. I like to, you just ask my wife. You can come at any time, baby. Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah, yeah.
But not
Anytime
everybody's
you're,
that way inclined though.
yeah. And
But
and
it
and
doesn't
but I
mean.
wasn't like that. I wasn't like that originally. You know,
Hmm.
over the years, you know, things that need to be done and I can see it needs to be done, I'll ask questions. Or when
Yeah.
the workmen used to come to the house, I'll be watching them, you know, and then I learn how to do something for myself. So that,
Hmm.
you know what, Mama used to say that learn to do things yourself so you don't have to depend on, she said, a woman, you know,
Hmm.
like ironing,
Hmm.
washing clothes, sewing. Yeah, I don't knit, but I can sew, you know,
Hmm.
and it's true. You should learn to do things as well. You know,
Hmm.
if you don't want to, I'm not against many don't want to, but you must see the thing to be done and pay and get it done. Then don't
Get it
just
done.
leave it there. You
No, I'm
know,
talking about if a dad or a brother or a sister or someone will say that, I can't see how you can call a man a waste man just
mm,
because they don't do the stuff around the house that you might do. Yeah. If they're
absolutely,
going out and they're working and they're coming in and they're providing and they're paying for stuff to be done around the house, how is that a waste man? A waste man is someone who ain't going to work, ain't paying for nothing, ain't doing the jobs, ain't doing nothing. Do you get what I mean?
nothing.
But there are people, because I know, I know, period, that have said, oh, because he doesn't do what my dad does, and this is coming from her side of the family,
Yes,
because, oh, my dad always fixed the doors, or my dad always done this, and it's being filtered down to the daughter, that because this husband doesn't do this, then he's a waste man. But that's your dad. Your dad grew up even in a different time where, you know, they carpenters and builders and all of that, and so they got used to doing those kind of things around the house, the odd jobs and all of that. But you now, you and your brothers, your brothers and, you know, your dad is now saying, oh, your husband's a waste man, and then you're now being disrespectful to your husband by saying, oh, you don't do nothing around the house, you know, all you do is just pay for people to come in, you should be able to do it yourself. You're lucky that you pay for someone to come in and fix up the house.
exactly.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
After when he's working, and then if he don't go on work and stay in the yard and fix it, put on door and everything, you hear that there's not enough money coming in. So I'm just saying that it's those kind of conversations. Oh, the wife doesn't make the same type of food that the mum made. That means that the wife can't cook. No, she just cooks differently. Do you get what I mean? Come out of people's business. Do you know what I
See,
mean?
and you know what? Who cooks the same? I use different seasonings than Catherine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if I don't like a particular, like for instance, Catherine likes to put garlic in eggs. She likes it like that.
Yeah.
You know? I didn't like it like that at first,
Mm-hmm.
but and I don't generally do it. But the other day I was making something and a big omelette, and I put some garlic in it, and she said, "See, I told you
Mm-hmm.
that nice with garlic,"
Yeah.
and it really was good, nice with garlic.
But that's what I mean. It doesn't mean that she can't cook.
Exactly.
But
It's
people will be
different
quick
flavor.
to say
All
you
of a
can't
sudden, like,
cook. You don't
who
cook the same.
who cook egg with garlic? Ugh. Listen, you don't know how to cook. No, she does.
But it's
You,
but
you-
it's just a variation of what is
exactly.
being cooked. Doesn't mean that because it tastes differently or because she does it differently doesn't mean that she can't cook. It's a
Can you imagine? Can you
it's
imagine? I
just
said to
different.
Catherine, "That's not edible. It's not
Yeah.
edible." That how dare I turn around? It's not burnt. It might even if she was to catch the rice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How many times have our mums
And it
catch
catch
the
rice.
rice or dad catch the rice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what that means is, for those that don't know, that is that you slightly burn it.
It's slightly bond.
Yeah. Or
Mm-hmm.
that underneath it, or the whole of the underneath is burnt. Yeah. You got some parents that they like that. Oh, I like the burn bit now. Yeah. But let's go on to what are the positives about in-laws. Having positive relationships with in-laws can bring numerous benefits to one's life. Here are some positives
Like
about
babysitting.
they did do that. Support system.
Yeah,
In-laws
it's
can
cool.
become an extended family support, providing emotional, financial help during times of need. Role models. Some of them can be in-laws can serve as a positive role model, as positive role models, teaching valuable life skills, values, and traditions that can be passed down to future generations.
Absolutely.
Traditions that are not cultish. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're devil worshippers and they want their children to be devil worshippers. You come in the house and the whole inside of your house is black and the pentagram. Listen, I'm gone. Yeah, it's turn around. Yeah, straight
This
off
is
of
what
the
we've
ring.
always done.
Yeah? Say again.
This is what we've always done in our
Yeah,
family.
this is what we're doing. Okay, listen. Here's the ring. I'm not even taking anything. I'm gone. I'm just gone. Yeah,
Absolutely. But you know
yeah.
what it is as well? It's great when you have a good relationship with your in-laws because you can talk with them, you can hang out with them, you can go shopping, you can do all of those things that is beautiful. Do you get what I mean? If you
And they should be striving to have that with you as well.
absolutely
You know?
I think that that's the best thing that you can have. Do you get what I
Yeah,
mean?
it is.
It doesn't mean that every one of the family members you're going to be like that with, but if there's
Mhm.
the mother-in-law, you get along with the mother-in-law, or you get along with the father-in-law, or do you get what I mean? Or the
A brother
sister-in-law,
or a
the
sister
brother-in-law.
or everybody.
It's ideally it would be
Ideally,
great if you got along with everybody. Do
yeah,
you know what I mean? However, even if there's one or two that you get along with, that's great. That's
that's good.
that's
That's good
amazing.
enough.
Do you get what I mean? And
Yep.
I think that in every marriage, that's what should be that should be the thing that you strive for. However,
Because
there are I think that the reason why that probably doesn't happen is because people are not willing to accept people for who they are, like
I
culturally.
I
Um,
agree.
you know, oh, you're comparing them to their last spouse who you got along with. Do you get what I mean? Oh, now he's with
Mhm.
somebody else now, and or you know what I mean? Or
Didn't do that. They used to do that, and this one don't do that.
Yeah, this one's
everybody
fair
is,
skin and that
yeah,
one's dark skin,
yeah,
and this
yeah,
one's plump and this one is too mager. Do you get what I mean? And
yeah.
it's not just, I think that the only reason why people do not get along is because of comparison, and because you're not willing to accept people as they are.
And that you
You're
have your
not good
own
enough for my son.
traumas. Yeah, you've got your own traumas as well. See that
Absolutely.
statement right there saying you're not good
Absolutely.
enough.
You're not good
Yeah.
enough for my son. You're not
What are
good
you
enough for my
comparing
daughter.
it to? What are you comparing? Because
Absolutely.
if you're comparing to the ex, they're the ex. Why have they become an ex? Maybe there's things that you don't know or you learn, you know about them, but you like this part of them. They used to bring you flowers all the time, but I don't ever bring you flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they was bringing flowers. It might be that I come to your house and I wash up. It might be that I cook a dinner and you listen. You guys are quiet tonight, man.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah, come on, man.
They
What's
must have us
going
on in the
on?
background.
Yeah. Any of you out on Instagram that's joined and you want to comment, please go over to YouTube, Maurice and Debbie at Gym Time, and come to the live chat and join us, whether you're on Facebook or wherever you are, even if you're on Twitter. I don't know, come
It's not going
over
to show on
and
Twitter.
I know, but hey, I'm hoping and just come in and talk with us. You guys are so quiet, man.
They are.
Yeah. So I don't know what I was going to say then, but I'll go on to this. Cultural enrichment. In-laws can introduce new cultural practices, traditions, and customs, enriching one's own cultural heritage and
Mm-hmm.
broadening one's perspective. You might be with and someone from China or India or whatever else it is, or Barbados, yeah, because people cook different foods in Africa and the Caribbean,
Different
you know.
parts of
Uh,
different parts of
Yep, yep,
the
yep.
Caribbean as
So,
well.
so people do things differently,
Mm-hmm.
and you might learn how to make fufu, yeah, and you're there before you're saying, "Ugh," but there was an ingredient that was missing when you went to the restaurant. That as a family they bring in the real traditional way of doing it, etc. Anyway, so I'll
Absolutely.
go on social connections. In-laws can provide social connections and the sense of belonging, especially for those who may be new to a community or have limited social skills. What basically they introduce you to them friend, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest of the family. They have a family gathering and they invite you and you meet everybody. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's
what
right.
that really means. Social for us, that is, but that is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a gathering, invite them. Yeah. This
Absolutely.
is my son-in-law, this is my daughter-in-law, this is my brother-in-law, this is my sister-in-law, whatever. Because it's an extension now,
It's an extension of the
you know,
family. Absolutely.
and you guys don't know one another wholeheartedly. So this is a chance to get to know them and the rest of the extended family, and
Absolutely.
you come together. You got to be real, man. Yeah. On the wedding day, everybody's all friends. Yeah, yeah, and speeches. Yeah, oh, yeah. And then after that, all of a sudden, you're not friend. Nah,
Mm-hmm.
you're wrong. You're wrong. That's my perspective, anyway. You're
Mm-hmm.
wrong. If you said good things about him on her on the wedding day, because you've been introduced to them, whether or 5 years or whatever else it is, and you're speaking good about them in front of everybody, behind closed doors, you should be speaking good about them as well. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you don't take your son's side, don't take your daughter's. I know someone, yeah, that their daughter-in-law is not good at cooking. Yeah, and and they but he's good at cooking. So I was saying teach him. They don't want to learn. Yeah, but he said it to the dad. What can you do? What am I going to do, or what's he going to do? Anyone going to do? All of a sudden, you're not like them because they don't cook.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do the
Foolishness.
things that what we traditionally think a woman
Traditionally.
should do.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't. So he does the cooking. Yeah,
But
or
but
they eat
but
takeaway.
supposing that she does try to cook and the food isn't very nice, then then you as if you're the man and you can cook good, then you cook the food. Then
You cook.
you cook,
Absolutely.
you cook.
So
Then
I go to because I'll finish my practical help. In-laws offer practical help with childcare, household chores, and
yeah,
other responsibilities, allowing couples to share the load and enjoy more free time, which is very true. Yeah,
absolutely.
why not? Why not? No, I ain't coming to your house to wash up and hoover. You don't if you don't want to hoover, but you do. My mother-in-law, she cooked today. Yeah, I didn't have it because I didn't feel like that. But she cooked, and the children ate. My wife ate the food. It saved us time. Yeah,
Absolutely.
to
Hmm.
do something else. You know, like I'm on a show. I could have been. It might have been me in there cooking or Catherine cooking, and we've all eaten early and burp poop and are ready to go to our bed, brush our teeth and go to bed. Tidy,
Tidy.
tidy and go to bed. Yeah. So legacy and heritage. In-laws can help preserve family history, traditions, legacy, keeping cultural heritage. That was one that they said before. New perspective. In-laws can bring new perspectives and ideas, challenging one's own beliefs and broadening one's understanding of the world. And the last one is a sense of belonging. And I was going to elaborate on this one. In-laws can provide a sense of belonging and connection to one's partner's family, fostering a strong bond and sense of unity. Some people don't have a mum and dad.
Mm,
Yeah. Some people, they may have been the only child, and they've lost their parents,
that's right.
and you are the role model for them now. And they want to belong.
Yeah.
So you have to tread carefully, even if they've got family members, but they're not close with their own family members. Yeah,
Mm.
you're now the
Well, now they've
extension.
extended
Yeah,
extension of their family. Yeah.
yeah. And the key, I believe, in any relationship, anyway, is love.
Mm,
Yeah, love and communication. Those two things, they gel together. Yeah, if you love someone, you're going to be honest enough to be able to communicate and tell them how you feel.
mm,
You know, otherwise, what do you really have? What do
absolutely.
you really have if you're not giving love? You're bitter. Yeah, you're talking about your brother-in-law, your sister-in-law, your daughter-in-law, your father-in-law, and bitter. And this is the bat and ball. This is tennis that you're playing. He's this. Listen, if you are that type of person and you are doing that,
Mm,
yeah, change your ways, man. Change your ways. Embrace your in-laws. Yeah, change your ways. Look at yourself. Yeah, maybe you had a horrible mother-in-law or father-in-law or brother-in-law, whatever, or maybe you never ever had one. Yeah, but you got friends, and if you got friends, you know, you talk to people with respect. Yeah, you should be able to talk to your family with respect because your daughter-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, father-in-law, mother-in-law, that's your family now.
absolutely.
Mic drop.
Um, I want to say I wanted to put this up on there. Pauline said that when she was a child, she used to like the bun rice. We've got another bun rice person over here.
Mummy did as well, didn't she?
Well, absolutely.
Nothing wrong with it. Get the pot. No man, all right. You know, I
But I
like
would
burnt
say,
garlic.
uh,
I like burnt garlic. Like if
oh my,
I've done some cooking and the onions and the garlic is left over. I'll
hmm,
like when I do my potatoes, I roast my potatoes.
go
I'll
for
do a show and I'm gonna do a cooking show. I think maybe no.
potatoes.
Garlic potatoes. Catherine got me into this garlic potato. Oh my goodness me! So when you put it in the oven and all of that burns, well not all of it, but you know what I mean. You got the garlic taste on the potatoes, and then you got these little bits
Burnt bits
like
of
scratchings,
garlic.
what pork scratchings would be. You know, I like this garlic, and oh my goodness, that crunch. Mm.
Mm-mm.
I like my food in
Innit?
it.
Oh,
Anyway, I just
yeah. I think that if when it comes to the in-laws, I think to kind of wrap this up, I would say be careful what you allow your family members to say to you, and be careful what you say to your family members about your spouse, and what you take on board, what your family will say. Even though your friends, your families, all right, let's stay with the families, your family will want the best for you, they don't always give you the best advice. Do you get what I mean? And I think that it's important that you try and realize that this is an extension of your family, because they're an extension of your family. However, you still need boundaries. You still need to make sure that you safeguard your relationship, because otherwise, when stuff hits the fan, when it boils down to it, is you and your spouse. Do you get what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
that's what is fundamental, that you and your spouse is able to overcome all of the obstacles, regardless of family being around. It's still you and them. And
That's
so
right.
the best things that I think, when it comes to the family, is to be willing to be open for cultural changes, people seeing things differently from you. That's fine. You're not all going to be on the same page, but showing a level of respect that is going to be ultimately necessary just across the board.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that the in-laws and the spouses can coexist. I think that it's a great thing if you're able to do that. I know there's some families that are very dysfunctional, and again, like I say, you just have to safeguard yourself and your relationship, but strive to have a good relationship with your in-laws, and you know, see it from a perspective of their family.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I'm I look at this subject and I think to myself, I don't know what I would, because I don't agree with everything what my mother-in-law says. I don't agree with that. But the one thing what I about Catherine, if she agrees, if she disagrees as well, she'll make it known to me. If she agrees with it, then she'll tell me why she agrees, you know, or why do you say that? She don't come in the we send it because I don't ever put down my mother-in-law. If we are talking, me and Catherine, we're talking about something that we've have um, mental things, that we don't want the children maybe eat sweets before dinner,
Hmm.
yeah.
Well,
So
that's your rules. That's
that's
your rules
our
in
rule.
the
Yeah.
house.
But Catherine, which is true, Catherine would verbalize that to her mum as well and say, no, we don't
Yeah.
allow that. You know,
Hmm.
they're not supposed to have these chocolate big donuts and 4 donuts. Even portion sizes. We even
Hmm.
talk about that
Yeah.
because no child should be able to eat what I would eat as a man.
Hmm.
Yeah. They're supposed to apparently fist size. I don't know if it's my
Hmm.
fist size or their fist size, you know, but these children all of a sudden,
Hmm.
then you have to find a healthy snack for them. You don't, it can't
Absolutely.
be crisp and it can't be this, it can't be that. So
But
we
that's your ground rules. That's
to
what.
those things, without a clash,
Mhm. Yeah.
you know.
Some
Yeah,
people can't
that,
though, Paul. Some people can't, because the moment you disagree with their mum or disagree with their dad or their
yeah,
sibling, it's contention,
phew, yeah.
or if it's their children or whatever. The moment you disagree, there's conflict.
Fire, as
You
Janice has put up there.
Yeah.
Fire. That's what will happen.
But you
Fire.
you you forget that you and your spouse. That's where the bond is, that you, like we said last week, you leave and you cleave. Do you get what I mean? So you can't be looking at it from a perspective of, my family is like your family against you. Do you get what I mean?
Yes,
Do you get what I
yes,
mean? It can't be that. That's just wrong on every level. It's you and them, and I say it not in a negative way, but you and them against the world. So no matter what, it's always you and them. It doesn't, even though that's your family and they was there before your spouse came along and all of that, it is still you and your spouse, and everybody else, even if that person, even if you are wrong, yeah, your husband or your wife still has to be on your side, and you have, and they have to come to you and say, you know, that you was wrong with that. Do you get what I mean?
Here's a
You
question for you before we
go
end.
on.
Let me make a statement and I'll ask you.
Hmm.
Do you think that if you've had a good relationship with your in-laws and your relationship has broken down, do you think it's wrong to still have a relationship? Here's the question, with your in-laws, or do you think that everybody should just go their separate ways? Because I
No,
don't like it.
I, I
I don't,
I think that you should be authentic. The authenticity is you've got a relationship with that person, and because you and your spouse or yeah have broken up, I personally don't see it as a problem. But I think that a lot of people say no, you just sever all ties. As far as they're concerned, that is it. Boom, done. And I know people
because,
that's done that. I
because,
had a conversation
because
with someone. I had a conversation with someone recently, and they said that when they so there was children. The person had children before they got married to my friend, and when her and the husband broke up, everything was severed. Don't see the kids, don't see the family, don't see the mum, don't see nobody, like cut off everything. And I was like, each to their own, each to
you
their
see,
own.
I
I'm
think
just
it's wrong. I
I'm
like
just not like that. But some
it's like
people are like that, and you just have to. If that's the case, and they cut you off, they just cut you off. That's just how it is. But me
mhm.
personally, I'm I will be authentic. I liked you then, and I like you now. That's it. Period. Otherwise,
Because
I didn't really like you in the first place.
I've
I.
seen one of my ex-father-in-laws, and even I see him, I greet him exactly how I used to when I saw him.
Mhm,
You know, I don't. In the beginning, I used to go around their house, you know, but because of um, um, being educated, yeah,
mhm,
learning, I chose to not go anymore because
mhm.
I was learning that
Yeah.
this is wisdom now, you know. Um, because I don't like contention on the best of days. Not
Mm,
that they had any contention with me, you know, but because the relationship was volatile, me and the person, I'm not going to do that, you
yeah.
know. But if
Not
I saw
saying that
them on
you're
the
going to be
street,
best buddies, and
no,
you know, I
no,
do know people. I do know people who still sees mother-in-law and whatever, whatever, and
I
now
think it's wonderful.
that
I think it's
person is
wonderful for
now
that.
married with someone else, and they all go to family dues and everything, and there's no animosity.
I think it's wonderful
I think
if
it's
you can
if
get
you
that.
can do it, beautiful.
That's
If
growth, though. That's
But
growth.
I think that's maturity as
Of
well. I
course, it
think
is.
I think
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
maturity. I think that if you're with somebody and then the marriage is there's divorce, and then everybody just cut you off, just in my mind I question, like,
The authenticity of what it was in the first place.
yeah,
Yeah, because
that's in my mind.
see,
You wasn't
I
being
agree with you
true.
because so, in my experience, no one's ever said, "Are you all right?
Hmm.
Yeah, how you coping?"
Hmm.
Yeah, I'll say it. None, not one has
And it
said
works
to
both
me,
ways. It works
"Yep,
both ways. You can't, in my mind it's like you can't, in my mind, if me and Catherine we talk, yeah, and then you and God forbid,
don't now, don't even say it.
no, but I'm saying
I passed
I wouldn't
away."
I would be asking, how are you doing? Do you get what I
Yeah,
mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be just like cut you off, but that's my brother. Is like, that isn't
Look,
me.
look
I
at,
haven't
look
done
at,
that.
look
I
at,
haven't
look
done
at.
that with your previous.
Yeah,
Um,
look at me and Carlos.
yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't did that with your previous, so
No.
I wouldn't do that. Like, it's either we had a friendship and I was talking with you and that, or not. Do you get what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
and then I'm meant to be like, no, I don't talk to you at all. Like, that's
That
in
don't
my
make no
mind.
sense.
In my mind, that's just mad. I just think you wasn't true in the first place. And
I,
if
I
you're saying, well, I'm making sure that I don't talk to you because my sister or my brother's broken off with you, so I'm not going to talk to you. I just think, just grow up, like, grow
yeah,
up. You know what I mean?
but that's the whole thing. Some people, they're not, they're not, they're not grown. They're
Yeah,
grown in age, but not
right.
grown in mindset.
Not mature at all.
Yeah,
No.
because you should automatically. Because if last week I was coming to the dinner parties and you're all, oh yeah, and we were chatting for hours and then and laughing and joking every Sunday. That's what we were doing, or every Saturday, or roller skating, picnic, and everything else like that. And the next month we break up, and I know that there's a function. I'd say, well, they were invited. And if you don't want to, if you don't want to be there, then don't come. But they were invited. You see, what it is the problem is between you two.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they've never dealt with me in a negative way,
No,
so
but you know what?
I shouldn't be dealing with you also in a negative way. That's you two had that over there. Go on,
No,
what do
but
you
I
mean?
tell you something. I tell you a little secret behind that. It never was just about two people. You was probably chatting in the background. That's why you can cut that person off too.
Right, I
Because it
agree.
because we're if it was, if you just left it between the couple, how is your feelings and that lot got involved?
Yeah. How are you offended
How are
that
you offended?
that
How
he
are you?
smashed the window? Yeah.
Yeah.
All of a
How are
sudden
you?
you're catching feelings.
You're
Yeah.
catching. So that tells me that it was never you was in on a
Yeah.
conversation or party to something,
Yeah.
because you don't just not talk to people overnight.
Right.
Smile with people and then not talk to them after. You don't. So
You don't.
there has to be, it logically, you would have to be a third wheel or fourth wheel in the equation, and having conversations in order for you now also to say, I'm not going to be speaking to that person.
All
Do you
of
get
my
me?
sons, all of my children's, by the one who's passed away, yeah,
Yeah,
all of their grandmothers or grandfather, I talk to.
you talk
Yeah.
to.
I see them, I'll say, how are you doing? I heard you wasn't too well, you know, or I pass a message on if I can't get to them directly, or if they're
Absolutely. Life's too
when
short
if
anyway.
I'm on the phone and I say, oh, is where are you? Tell your grandma that I said hello. No,
Absolutely.
tell them now. Yeah. And then they say it, and then because they've not done any, they've not done something personally to me.
But you know
Yeah.
what? I would choose for those people to be true to themselves and don't talk to me, because I don't. In my mind, I wouldn't want people talking to me and not really like. I
Pretentious.
prefer I would
Yeah.
prefer for you to be true to yourself. And if
Yeah.
do you get what I mean?
And if that's how you
Absolutely,
are, yeah,
absolutely.
then you
Don't
stay how
compete
you
with
are. But
me.
it's not a good trait. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna say it again. It's not a good trait. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now come Cockney neck.
But I think that we've looked at the in-laws on a negative perspective, and I think that a lot of people experience a lot of negativity from in-laws.
Yeah.
Um,
But when
and
it's when
and it's
it's
really
when
and
it's
it's
when it
and
comes together, when there's synergy, and
it's
strive for that.
beautiful.
Strive
It's
for that.
absolutely beautiful, and I think
Yeah.
I think that people should always want to have a respect and a love for the person that their family member chooses. Do you get what I mean?
Chose to be with.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that they should, because then that shows that you love and respect that person. Do you know
Mm.
what I mean? Because that's your family member. You love and respect them, and so that's their choice. That person is their choice to be with that person. And if anything goes pear shaped, at the end of the day, you chose them. Do you get what I mean? You chose them. So I can't
Right.
sit here saying, "Oh, your husband or your wife is out of order and they're this and they're that and whatever." You chose them.
You chose
You
them.
you
Yeah.
picked them out of the bunch. And now
Yes.
when things go pear shape or things look awkward, you now are on board with that person. No, you actually chose that person. Do you get what I mean? And
So
so
you send them back to go. You go and make right. Yeah. Don't come. You think that any of my children come and tell me about their wives or a husband? Yeah. That I'm gonna say, yeah. Dash them out or do the. I'm gonna send them back. Have you spoken to her?
mhm,
Yeah. And what did she say? Well, then try this. Well, they're not gonna listen. How do you know? Have you tried that? No. If they go and they try it, and I will then say, yeah. But I'm striving to have a good relationship with my son-in-laws. God be willing, give me long life,
mhm,
and my daughter-in-laws. Yeah.
mhm,
So that I having a good relationship like that, that they're gonna come and want to talk. Yeah.
mhm,
And that we can sit down as a family and deal with whatever problems it is, you know,
mhm,
without being on her side or his side. That's what I know some people might think it's far fetched, but that's who I am. That's what I want. Yeah. I would, if it's my daughters, I say, do you want, first I will give the respect to them. Do you want me to come and talk with you guys? Yeah. That's the key. With you guys.
mhm.
Or do you want Catherine to have a talk with her?
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
because we're the in-laws. And
Mhm,
what we're looking for is to keep that marriage together, keep the family unit together, because too many families are splitting. Too
absolutely.
many, and well, I'm not talking about splitting by getting out of the house as well. He's gone that way, she's gone that way. Sometimes you're split and still living in the same house.
Mhm,
That's crazy, man.
mhm,
That togetherness has to come. You've got to get that togetherness back. This I said it last week. The same energy you took to get that person is the same energy that you need to put in to keep that
keep them.
person.
Absolutely.
She or he, the same energy. Yeah. The same way how you flirted, the same way how you was on the phone talking. You sit up at night talking. Yeah.
Mhm,
How many? Someone said this. I'm going to end with this one. This is my final words. I remember someone said to say 5 negative things about someone and 10 positive.
mhm,
And if you can't find 10 positives, only give 2 negatives and 5 good things. And if it's one thing that you say what's not good or negative, find 3 or 2, but never do 1 and 1. Yeah. No, Catherine, today, I like to give examples. Today, it was raining. And she said she got all her waterproof things on. Her shoes were leather and the trousers were leather, to take off the rain, and her coat and stuff like that. It's waterproof. And I said, I was driving and I said, you look really nice, She says, oh, I've just thrown this on. I said, no, but you look really nice still. And she paused and she said, thank you. Yeah. Yes, I've seen these clothes individually, but not together as such. Yeah. And if I have, I've forgotten. And I don't care that I've forgotten, because I then saw her in this and compliment her. You know, these things have to keep going. You've got to keep that thing going. I know we're talking about in-laws. Keep it going.
mhm,
Yeah. Keep it going. Don't just drop off because there's that energy is no, he just chat too much. She's just yeah. You're never gonna be happy then. You got to be happy. You're happy in yourself. You'll translate that into your relationship, into your marriage. I'll tell you the truth. Yeah, I'm telling you, I know. Yeah,
Mhm.
um, from being unhappy in myself because I kept on looking at things to now being happy in myself and content in myself, that I now translate that same thing. If Catherine is upset about something, I'll come and say, you're right, baby. Yeah. If did I do something? Yeah. Did I say something? Or if I something, and she said, "Oh, you." The other day she said, "Oh, you seem to just come at me." I said, "Did I?" She said, "Yeah." When you said that, I said, "I'm sorry, baby. I didn't. I won't do it again. I'll probably do it again, but I'll be sorry in a different way. You know, something different. But I've learned, and I mean, I don't say sorry. It comes with all the trimmings at the
Mhm.
same time. You know,
Mhm.
we're not always right as men, and we're always right as women. Yeah. If I lose, you lose. If you win, I win. And
Absolutely.
that's the joy of relationships with your in-laws, with everybody. We can win. Let's smash this narrative about that, as black people, that the divorce rate is up there and we're like this and we're not, there's no synergy with. Let's smash that. Let's grow
Absolutely.
up, man.
Mm.
Let's be like those people, our grannies and great grands of old, where they stick together through thick and thin because they know where they're coming from.
Mm.
You, mother-in-laws, father-in-laws, etc. Yeah, husband's wife who's been married for a long period of time or even a short period of time. You're still coming from somewhere together,
Mm.
so keep it together. That's that's my aim, is to try, and Debbie's aim is to get you to stay together. We haven't done a
Absolutely.
divorce yet, and it's not nice. Uh, I say it like that, but it's a lot.
Mhm.
I finish.
Oh, thanks, Paul. I think that you wrapped it up well. It is about staying together, and it is, about making sure that your daughters, your sons, your uh, brothers and your sisters, stay married, and that you don't give your one and two pence that will add to the weight of, the argument that will cause separation, division,
Yes,
divorce, and so
absolutely,
forth. But your words should always be uplifting and encouraging and inspiring them to continue in their relationships, never to tear down, never to cause separation. And I think that if you have been that kind of person, it's never too late to apologize. It's never too late to backtrack. It's never too late
absolutely,
to take your nose out of people's business. It's never too late to do that. But it's important that you're striving to make sure that the relationships are better. Do you get what I mean? And I
absolutely.
think that sometimes the level of pride that people have just needs to be diminished. The
Mm,
pride, the ego need to step away from that and say, if I've done wrong, if I've said stuff that has caused contention or whatever, I apologize and should have advised you better, or whatever the weather is. But it's good if you can look at yourself and see whether you have added to anybody's situation being worse, whether it's your brother, whether it's your sister. I would never ever say to my brother, do this, do that. I would never ever do that. I will always encourage him to keep on pushing, keep on striving, keep on praying, keep on believing. I will always do that. And I would do that for my brother. I would do that for somebody else, because I don't like to see division. I don't like to see people broken and hurt, and separation, divorce. And my brother said it, we're going to be covering the topic soon. These things cause 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 people to kill themselves. It is
yep,
very, very devastating. And if you're party to people being separated, you shouldn't be proud of yourself. You really should repent, ask God to forgive you if you've ever said anything negative about your daughter-in-law, sister-in-law, brother-in-law, anything like that, you should repent, ask God to forgive you, and ask them to forgive you, so that you can add to a relationship being restored or being whole. I think people should take themselves out of it. But thanks for your input,
Absolutely.
bro.
Yeah,
Like,
thank you for your input. That was a good word this there.
yeah, and I just think it's important that we be sensitive and have empathy and sympathy for people who are married and going through challenges. So,
Remember,
guys,
remember this. Remember this. That while we're talking on this matter like this, we're not talking about domestic violence.
absolutely.
We're not
Do you know,
talking
I was
about
going to say that
domestic
earlier
violence.
on, and then it slipped my mind. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, it's not about that's
It's a
different.
completely different
Yeah,
topic.
and yes, you need to safeguard her or him, because I think we'll have to cover that as well. Men who
Absolutely.
have been abused,
Yeah.
physically abused, because you safeguarding them. So you are speaking into their lives to get out from this type of abuse instead
Absolutely.
of instead of
Yeah, we're
staying.
not talking
That's
about
the only
toxic
time when
relationships.
you're looking to draw them out of something that's destroying them in every
Hmm.
way possible. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and the telltale signs, will be there, and
Hmm.
that's different.
Yeah,
Domestic violence, we don't say stay.
absolutely.
I will tell you to get out, get to safety, get to someone who can mediate for you, or if they are threatening, 999. Don't care.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if they're
Absolutely.
coming, whatever goes. I'm sorry. That's the truth. You got to protect yourself, especially as women. I'm not talking about men feeling that, well, men get abused anyway, but that's a whole
Hmm.
different subject. So that's all I wanted to say. Domestic violence, no.
It's a
We're talking
no-go.
about a relationship, arguments, um,
Disagree.
disagreements,
Yeah.
um, that kind of thing.
Nice. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. So before we go, Pauline said, I totally agree. As a mother-in-law, I know my place. And yeah,
absolutely.
I think that we all should know our place. So once again, thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, thanks for joining us. And yeah, all being well, we will catch you all next
Next
week.
week. Tell your friends, tell your family, like and subscribe. And again, as we always say, if there's a subject that you want to us to cover, please send us a message if you DM us, if you know us, or on Jim no, is it hashtag Gym Time _24/7. I think I got
That's
it
on
right.
Instagram,
That's on
and
Instagram.
on Facebook it's just gym time.
So reach out if there's anything, and if you want to be, just remember, yeah, you can join us here, right here, on Get Your Motivation.
Amen. Take care. Have a good week, guys.
God
Catch
bless
you
you
next
all.
week.
Bye. Are you going to do it right this time?